Hi. So, if you couldn't guess from the title, these are my thoughts on the election, and I know everyone has constantly been bombarded with a series of everyone's opinions, which is a great thing, but you know, I decided to make a video, one, because there's a lot of expressions that get lost when you just type it out in text, and two, I'm giving you the option to listen. Whereas, when you see the text, you just can't help but read it. But I remember when I first found out that Trump was elected president, and I didn't know how to react. But thankfully, I didn't have to process it alone. I had Fernando, who's an exchange student from Spain, with me, and he really helped. He gave the European perspective on it and gave me the just amazing opportunity to explain about, why Trump was president and how everything happened. So that it calmed me down, but I still can't forget the unease I felt when it was confirmed that Trump was president. And it took time, obviously. It's about a week after the election. It took time to process this, and the reaction over here, it was like the next day everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, how are you feeling? How does it feel to be an American?" was the most often asked question that I got that day. And I said different because it did feel different. And I feel after every election, every American does feel a bit different. But it was interesting. And it definitely was interesting experiencing the election overseas, abroad, because you didn't get the whole perspective that a lot of Americans got. They were in the thick of it, and now I hear about all these riots, and you can't help but feel tied to your country because you want to be there to help with the transition. But being here, you're kind of an ambassador to your country, so you're kind of helping in a different way, but it still feels definitely weird while the country is transitioning uneasily. And that's not a bad thing, because everyone has a right to speak their mind and everyone has that right. But, it's different. But I can't be thankful enough for the opportunities that this election has given me. Granted, it was a very unusual election. It's given me so many opportunities to explain my political system, how it works and why it works, to people who are curious, and I get to just tell everyone about my country, and that's something of pride. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good when the person you're explaining it to, you just see the look in their eyes of, "Oh my gosh, I think I finally get this, at least a little bit." But I guess what I would call upon you to do, you watching at home, sitting, well, wherever you are, but to my American viewers and anyone out there, don't be afraid to give Trump a chance. But I'm not saying completely trust him. Give him the chance to prove himself, but don't give him any leeway. You have the ability to fact check him. Don't let media sources fact check Trump, because whatever political affiliation they have, they're gonna slightly reword it so it sounds more or less bad. Do your own research And I know it's so easy to surround yourself in opinions that you like to hear, but sometimes you need to go against the grain and hear what's hard because it's the other half of the country. Hate to admit it, but there are people out there who don't think in a liberal view. There's people out there who don't think in a Republican view. And it's our jobs as American citizens to understand them. That doesn't mean we agree with them. That means we understand them. We understand where they're coming from. And that's one thing that Sweden has taught me is cultural tolerance. And even though in America we're all the same culture, we do have differences, and we do need to be respectful of other people's differences. And it is really hard transitioning, and I can't imagine what it's like over in the States. But stay strong. Please stay strong and stay informed. Don't leave it to Facebook to tell you, or just one app. Do your research, because sometimes you might be surprised with what you turn up with. So that's my thoughts on the election. Very broad, of course, but I feel as time progresses, the opinion will solidify and become more concrete. Everyone, I feel, is still in kind of a confused state. They don't know necessarily what to think, but that's okay, because we're all going to go through this together. One country united together. So, with that, I will see you in the next vlog. Hej då!